Right, so let me tell you the structure of the course today. We will start with the learning objectives and move on to the service now definition of HR request management. For each area, we will see the state overview and the process flows. Later, after discussing these items, we will try some hands-on activities in the system by the way of practical exercises. So we will be talking about HR case management today and see how to raise and action HR cases using ServiceNow. We will see the entire life cycle of HR case management practically as well. We'll see something about managing dashboards and layouts, and we'll touch base a bird's eye view actually on onboarding and offboarding processes, HR case point of view. Learning objectives. Well, the actual takeaway, the actual objective of the day is if you gain more confidence in the system. Some of you may already have seen the system and been working on UAT, and some of you may be seeing the system for the first time. But the truth is that you will take some time to master the system. And just after one training session, you are not going to gain all the experience. But what we want to do is ask questions, try to probe as much as possible. We have an expert with us, Leo, so he can tell us about the system in and out. And if you gain more confidence as you are at 3 o'clock as compared to what you will be at 5 o'clock, then that will be the takeaway for the day. So what is HR case management? So it's like a query management system with ServiceNow. You can either browse a knowledge article or else you can actually post a query. This query can be in the form of an incident or a problem. This query can be in the form of an HR request, or this query can be in the form of an IT request. Today, we are going to talk about queries which are in the form of HR request. The HR requests which are posted in the employee services hub, which is the front end, go back in the back end and they become HR cases. And these HR cases are assigned to agents to be worked on, and that is how they solve the tickets and work through the life cycle of an HR case. So this is a ticket management system where the employee can submit the request and from there follow the workflow, giving them full visibility of status, progress, and outcomes. This also allows HR to action and maintain the assigned tasks and possibly escalate to a different team member if required, all the while providing clear transparency to the person who has created the ticket. Let's see the different states. The states are literally the life cycle states of an HR case. It all starts with a draft case, which means that the HR case has just been created but not qualified. In ready case, an HR case is fully qualified, but not the work has not yet started. So we will see what is the actual difference as far as system is concerned between the draft state and ready state when we do the practical exercise. I'll come back to this. Awaiting approval is in case HR case is pending approval from an authorized approver. Work in progress is where the major work is going to happen for the case. This is where the HR case is fully qualified and the work is started. And the final state generally would be close complete, whereby an HR case has been closed as completed and this has been accepted by the user as complete. There are some special scenarios where there can be a closed incomplete state, whereby an HR state has been closed as incomplete without actual resolution. That can be a cancel state, whereby an HR case has been cancelled. Awaiting acceptances from the user's side. So once the HR case has been closed as complete, it is awaiting user's acceptance. And once the user accepts is at closed, then the state is automatically updated in the backend. Finally, we have a suspended state whereby an HR case SLA stops progressing and the suspension notes appears in the activity stream as work notes, like in the case of agents waiting for more information from the end user. The process flow, sorry for that. The process flow looks a bit complicated here, but it's not so. This is because there are different swim diagrams depending on what work the requester, the service desk, the assignment group, and the external processes are doing. But generally speaking, once the end user selects a category and an item from an HR catalog in the front end, a query is created. This goes to the back end, and then if this query is solvable through a knowledge article, the case ends there. But if this query is not solvable by a knowledge article, if it needs to be worked on more, then it goes for a triage. And with the resolution, the case fulfillment is completed. And all the while, we are talking about different states as from the previous screen. So we'll combine both of this when we do the practical exercises. There are certain uniting SLAs which have been identified as per this table for at least the first 3 months following go live. And depending upon the type of category and priority, the resolution SLAs have been clearly defined in the system. This is available to see even while we are working on the case in the system itself, in ServiceNow itself, but at any point of time, you can always refer to this table. These are all the HR catalog items grouped together. This is visible as catalog and categories in the front end in the Employee Services Hub, but this is just a tabular view of all the catalog items put together. We will see something about how to manage dashboards. Now, dashboards are graphical representation of display of key performance indicators, sorry for that, matrix and key data points to monitor specific process or processes. Depending on what user role authorization you have, you will be able to see either manager dashboard or HR dashboard or even both. The HR managers and admins will be able to access the manager dashboard, whereas the HR case dashboard is visible to all users who have the HR basic role. There are some other subtle layout options like setting filters, setting the column layouts, and creating favorites menu, which we'll also see as a part of practical exercises. A very quick overview on onboarding and offboarding activities. This looks like a complicated table, but all this does is it combines all the tasks depending on whether it's a recruitment activity, pre-joining activity, day of joining, or post-joining activity in an onboarding scenario. And these tasks are automatically assigned to the user, respective user in their inboxes. And then depending on what type of tasks are executed, it also has a persona. So in this case, as you can see, that all the recruitment tasks are actually assigned to IT services. The way we manage these tasks are very easy. It's exactly like a normal HR case management system. There is no special way of handling these activities. All we need to know is onboarding and offboarding activities will come as automatic tasks assigned to the users, and the way they will manage this is according to the normal case management activities. Exactly the same for offboarding activities as well. Right, so now we'll start the practical exercises. We have kept the theory to a minimum so that we can spend more time with the exercises in the system. Any questions so far? Okay, so at this moment, I'll ask you to log into the system. We have two bases to log into. One which is called the backend or the UI 16 or the native view. And then we have Employee Services Hub or the front end. We are going to do exercises in both bases. So let's log into the system. If someone doesn't know how to log in, please let us know. We will send you the links through which you can directly log into the system.
It's Jody. I'll need the links.
Sure.
Unless I got some tests earlier and I could get in that way, would that be the right link?
Yeah, sure. That's why we are logging in. That should be okay.
Murray here, could you send them to me, please, Sanjay?
Sure, we can. Leo, can you just send the links in the chat? Thank you. And while Leo is doing so, let me log into the system myself. Leo, can you send the links, please?
Yeah, Sanjay, correct. I'll send you the link. Just a sec.
Thank you. Just send it in the chat, the front end and the back end.
Yeah, just give me a sec.
Sure, sure.
So my page is a bit different.
Yeah, don't worry
So
about that.
I've got where it's got home knowledge catalogue and it's the employee services hub front page. Yeah, I've got that one.
Sure, no problem. Right. So Leo has sent us two links. The first link will open the backend, which will look like this. And the second link with a slash and ESC at the end, just copy that link and put it on the browser instead of just clicking there. So if you put that entire link with an ESC, then you should come to the Employee Services Hub. So let me know if all of you can open both the bases, the backend and the front end. It is necessary that we are able to log into both the bases. Yep, excellent. So Jody, you could see the backend as well now?
Yes, I can.
Excellent, amazing. Right, so let's start with the front end first. So front end is where all the users will have access to. So let's see the layout of the front end. I would call it Employee Services Hub as does Uniting. The top left of the screen has the home button. Now this is the home page. So from anywhere within Employee Services Hub, if we want to come back to home page, we simply press home and we are back to page number 1. The middle of the page is a big search, and this is dependent on what text or what query or what article you want to search. I simply put an incident, for example. Sorry. And it will take me to all queries related to incident and all the articles related to incident. If I want to go back to the home page, I simply click on home. There are some fast links in the bottom of the page as well. Moving on, the next tab is knowledge tab. This is a repository of all knowledge articles divided into two knowledge bases, the HR knowledge base and IT knowledge base. Depending on what article you want to choose, you can select one of the categories and choose one article to read on. The third tab or the button is the catalog button. The catalog, like knowledge, is divided into two parts, the HR and the IT parts, HR services and IT business services. Today we'll be seeing HR business services catalog items a little later. The top is the United banner, and towards the right of the banner are two items. One is called the to-do list and one is the request. The to-do is a list of items which you need to complete, like an approval as in the case of manager, or awaiting acceptance as in the case of end user. We will see how this works a little later. And finally, we have a request option from the top right. When we click on that, the system will tell you or show you all the requests which have been created from the past and also the ones which you are working on at the moment. So that's a very simple walkthrough of the overview of the front end. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do exercise number 1. The scenario is that as an end user, you want to raise an HR query and use one of the catalog items to raise this query. How to do this from the front end. So I'm just going to give you a system demo and then you can try it on your own. So I'll start with the front end at the home page. From home page, I select on the catalog item. From catalog, I choose the HR services. And under HR services, I have different categories. Let's say I choose general HR. And I once again choose general HR or other HR inquiry. If the items are not visible to you in block forms, it is available to you in list form. You can change the layout from here. One is the card view, which is the current view. Other one is a grid view or a list view. More importantly, the items inside that are exactly the same. So I have selected general as a category, and then once again I'm going to create select general other HR inquiry as an item. I'm just going to post a leave query. As soon as I start typing, it's a text sensitive help which has been activated. That means the system is searching for all knowledge articles related to leave and giving you an option to choose from. So as an end user, either you can choose one of this article and read on. And if you feel convinced, yes, that solves my query, that's it. But if you feel no, these articles do not solve my query, then you can still post it. In our exercise today, we are going to post the query. So let's say query, and I'm going to submit it. You can add attachments if you want to. Once I submit the query, the system by default takes me to a screen where it shows me the life cycle of the case. In case I lose the screen and go back to the home button, I can always track the case by going to requests and then clicking on the case which I just created. This has 3 items: the description, which is the query text which you have put while creating the query, the attachments, if you have attached any files, then that will be visible here, and finally the history. This is the communication between the front end and the back end. That means the end user and the agent who is going to handle this case. So this is a very simple exercise number 1. We are selecting a catalog item. We are opening HR catalog. From one of the categories, we are creating an HR case from the front end. And then we are going to request and then trying to track that case. I'll pause for a moment and give you time to replicate this exercise at your end. Do let us know if you are stuck somewhere. We're always here to help you. Please try this exercise on your own.
So I've just had to log back in because mine kept freezing. So give me 1 sec.
Sure, take your time, no problem. So how did it go? Were we all able to create an HR case from the front end? Okay. I'll take the silence as a yes, but please let me know if you are stuck somewhere, because all I can do is just stare at the screen. It's unlike the classroom, training classroom. So let me know if everything is okay. Thank you. Thanks both Jacquelines. And okay, then let's move on to the backend now. Yeah, Judy, thank you so much. And yeah, now let's move on to the backend. So backend, or the native view, or the UI 16 view, is where the agents are going to work. And this is the place where all the case management activities are going to happen as far as the life cycle is concerned. Let's first talk about the layout of the screen, because it's totally different than your front end, which is just a simple layout whereby I can choose the articles or the catalog. The left side of the backend is called the navigation pane. The navigation pane has a set of applications and modules to choose from. Just on the top of the navigation pane, there is a box icon, which is highlighted by default when you open the backend. This is a list of all the applications available. Now, this may be different for you based on your role, so don't worry if your page looks a bit different than mine. Next to the box icon is a star icon. This is a list of all the favorites which you have added here. So from your applications, if you feel one of the application you want to add as a favorite, if you simply click on the star, it will get as an added and a favorite, and you'll be able to see here. So that's your favorites tab within the navigation pane. And finally, we have a clock icon, which is your history. This can be used for going back to the latest case which you are managing. So history is literally the list of all the cases which you have been managing. Going back to the box view, just above the icons is a box where you can execute a search for applications. This is called the file navigator. Depending on what you input here, the navigation pane will reduce the search to the text which you have executed in the top. We are going to use HR more frequently for this training session. Just on the top of the file navigator is the uniting ribbon. From any part of the screen, if I want to go back to the home screen, I simply press on the uniting icon. The right side of the ribbon is your name, followed by a search icon. This may be deactivated for some users, some quick help, and then a personalization option. This is more for the theme and the color, but the best business practices, you keep the uniting theme. Depending on what application you are choosing here, the right side of the screen is going to change. So that's the general layout of your backend. Now, exercise number 2. Scenario number 1 was, from a front end, an end user creates an HR case. Scenario number 2 is how this case is visible in the backend. And later we will also see, if you are working as an agent, what are the different states of life cycle of a case, how to progress in a case, and how to close it. So exercise number 2 is a bit more advanced than exercise number 1. So let's all try to open the case which you have created from the front end and see how it looks in the back end. For this, I'm going to go to request in the front end. I'm going to select the HR case number, copy it, go to back. In the backend, in the file navigator, I'm going to put in HR. It will reduce the list. Under all HR cases, there is an item called all. I'm going to click there. And it will give me a list. In this list, I'm going to paste the number which I've copied from the front end. If this drop down is assigned somewhere else, assign it to number. give enter, and you should be able to find your case in here. You click your case, and it is going to open in backend. So the same case, which looks like this in the backend, in the front end, looks like this in the backend. I'll just pause here and let you open your case in the backend, and then I'll show you the different states of the life cycle of a case. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to open your case in the backend. Let me know if you need some help. Leo and me are here. Thanks, JS. I'll call you JS. And the other Jacqueline is JB. Thanks, JS. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, JB. Murray, how are you going?
Not flash, but anyway, that's all right. I'm following you.
Are you sure you want some help? If you share your screen, I can lead you through.
I wasn't able to create a case from the front end.
Let's try it. Why?
Pressing on, I don't get all I've got's a pointer when I'm on submit a ticket or the icon next to it. I can't actually hit submit a ticket.
Oh, is it? Let's go back to the front end. Let's take a pause, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Murray, can you please share your screen? I'm not putting you in a spot, mate, so don't worry. Just trying to help you.
What am I sharing? Desktop?
The screen which says the front end. And
is this what you want?
Excellent. Yep. And what did you do? What did you try to do? Let us go to catalog from the top of the screen. Yeah. From all, select HR services. Yeah, go down to general HR from the categories. Excellent. Select the middle one which says general other HR inquiry. Yeah.
It's better. It's working better now.
And just put in leave query or some text. As I said, this is not UAT. I really don't want to rush, especially with only 4 participants. So as you see, as you put leave query, the system either gives you an option of selecting the knowledge articles available, or in any case, submitting this query. There you go, as simple as that. Your HR case is now created. So you can copy this, yeah. Go to the backend and search for it. Now you have put in a lot of criteria here. So can you just give me the control? I'm just requesting control.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yep. There you go.
Excellent. I'm just going to click on here and remove all the criterias. Right. Okay. Back to you. You can paste and try executing the search again. Excellent.
Much better, thank you.
So you can stop sharing and I'll share my screen again. Thank you. Oops. Right. So can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. So all we did was we opened the same case which we have created in the front end from the back end. So now the actual exercise starts. What we are going to do is see as an agent how the different stages of the progress of the life cycle happens for an HR case. Now, the first thing to do is fill in the mandatory fields. As you can see, the black ones, black asterisks means it's mandatory, but it's pre-populated. The red asterisk means it's mandatory, but it's still not populated. So let's first populate these fields. I'm going to choose an appropriate category for this. For the sake of training, I'm just taking it as an inquiry. Let's see the right side of the screen. You have the state, which is in ready at the moment. We have the priority, and then we have the assignment group, which is self-assigned at the moment. All good. The description and the details of the description is directly flowing in from the front end. So far, no problem. Moving on, there is something called knowledge result. If I click on that, it will expand to a set of knowledge articles available. So if you feel as an agent, the solution for this query is attaching one of this knowledge article, then you can simply do so by attaching it from here. And then if you just go down a bit to the comments and work notes, that code is attached here. And if you post it, that knowledge article is now attached. And this will be visible to the customer in the front end. See, it has come here. Now it looks like Sanjay Iyer and Sanjay Iyer because I am myself working in the front end and I'm myself working in the back end. But ideally, it should be Sanjay Iyer who created the case, and this should be the name of the agent who posted a knowledge article saying that for your query, please read this article, it will solve your query. But from the front end, I say this knowledge article is not enough. Please give me another solution. Just a hypothetical scenario, and I'm going to send it. As soon as I do that, it will come and sit in here in the backend, and the agent who is managing this case will be able to see this node. So that's something about how to attach a knowledge article. Comments and work notes. This is very important. Work notes with a yellow band means all the communication is happening in between the agents. This communication is not visible to the customer at all. So if I put and post with a yellow band, that means all this is between agents and this is not visible to the customer. But if I put a note here, and then I click on this radio button here, which says additional comments, customer visible, and then post it, it gets posted without a yellow band or a gray band rather. And then this is your customer visible notes. So depending on how you are working on the case, you can either post internal team comment as work notes or external comments, which is customer visible. Moving on. In the bottom of the screen, there are many options to choose from. You can update the contacts, emergency contacts for the customer. You can see which cases are already open for the customer. You can attach more knowledge articles if you want to. You can see if there are any requested items by the same customer. Similar cases, which are the knowledge articles read by the customer. Even this information is available here. Child cases means, are there any linked cases for this case? And the task SLAs, which Leo will take a little later. So we have just touched base on the different aspects of the screen. This is just a general inquiry. I feel as an agent, I've solved this. So I'm going to move on to the next stage, which is work in progress. After changing the state, either I can update by clicking on the update button here, or else I can right click on the band here and click save. It will both update the state. The difference is if I update from here, it will take me back to the list view. Let's try that. You see, it takes me back to the list view. But at the same time, let's progress with the life cycle. And let's say this is now closed complete. And I save from here. Then instead of taking me back to the list view, it keeps me in the same case. Though the state is updated, I'm still in the same page. Now I've closed completed from my side, from the backend, from the agent side, but now it is awaiting users acceptance. I'll go back to the front end. I'll go to my to-do list and I'll say I'll accept this resolution and post yes. It shows on the top that this case has been accepted, and immediately it updates the state automatically in the backend. So we did a few steps here. We can really go even slow if you want to. What I want you to do is, from your case, try to browse the different aspects of the screen. Try to use additional comments, which is customer visible, or work notes, which is internal team visible. And then try to change the state of the case to work in progress. Use update, go back to the list, come in the case again, and then change it to close complete. Update it, go to your front end, accept the approval, accept the case, come back to the backend and see if it is close completed. So I'll give you a moment to try this on your own. Let me know if you are stuck somewhere. Always there to help you. Thank you, JB. So while you are working on the life cycle, can you now relate to the theory which we discussed earlier? All the different states represent a different life cycle of the case. And we are just assuming that we are working as agents. So I will also take exercises on how to transfer a case in case it is wrongly assigned to your group. So don't panic about that. We'll cover that a little later. But more importantly, once you open the case from the backend, try to observe what's happening at different levels in different fields within the screen. So what we did, we created an HR case from the front end. Second, we opened it in the back end and saw the different stages of the life cycle. Scenario number 3, how to create a case directly from the backend. This will be used by the agents. I don't know if your team is going to use it. Like if there is a phone call and an end user wants the agent to create a ticket from the backend, then manually it is possible. Again, I'm just going to run through the demo. Later you can try on your own. For this to happen, I'm going to filter on HR again. And then under HR case management, there is a module called create new case. I'm going to click on that. It asks me for whom I want to create this case because I'm on a phone call and this is going to be for a person who is on the other end of the call. So let's say his name is one of the employees. And then based on his request, I'll choose one of the services. I'm just going to keep it general for the sake of the training. I'll put in some work notes. And I'll create a case. Now, as you see, this leads me to the same screen where we started working on when we open this case in the backend. The only difference is the system says this case is in draft state. Press the ready for work button to change it to ready. This is very important. I mentioned about draft and ready states when we were doing the theory. A draft state means this case is still not customer visible. Only when I update it to ready and save the changes, then this case will be visible to the customer in his front end. Till that time, he cannot see this case. So it's very important to change the case from draft to ready. Then I'll put in the mandatory fields. And update the case. I want to stay in the same page, so I'm going to save from here instead of updating from here. The rest of the items are exactly the same. If you want to follow the life cycle, you fill in the notes, work notes, you fill in the customer visible notes, you attach the knowledge articles if you have to, and then you keep on moving to the next stage. Right, so moving on, now from scenarios, we are going to dashboards. So once I go back to my home screen, I'm going to use the Uniting logo again. And if I give HR, I browse down to something called overview. Now, as an admin, Leo has a lot of options, so don't worry, you may not have so many options. I beg your pardon. We are going to browse down to the item which says HR dashboards and reports, and which has two options. One is a manager dashboard and one is an HR case dashboard. Let's see how a manager dashboard looks like. Again, depending on your role, this may not be visible, so don't worry if it doesn't. This is work in progress as well.
Do you know what level of manager they're giving access to? Because I'm a team leader and I don't have manager access.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know, sorry. We will take this query though and pass it on to Kat.
And
Yeah.
I am a lead, and I can't, like when I click on it, there's nothing comes up.
Okay, we'll pass this information, sure. And then there is a HR case dashboard.
Yeah, let's look on that one.
So from the screen, if I click on one of the items which says unassigned HR cases, for example, it will directly lead me to the list as well. So these Dashboards are as it is out of the box. They are not configured at the moment, but maybe in the phase 2, you'll have more customized dashboards. But at the moment, we only have information that you can go to manager dashboard and look at the items, HR case dashboard and look at the items if this role is assigned to you. The other item which we want to discuss with you is the layout option. So whenever you choose a list of items or a list of cases, then there are two options here. One is the filter option and other is the layout of the column option. You can add or delete the number of columns depending upon your requirement. To do this, you have to click on the settings or the gear icon, and it will, on the right side, it will show you a list of columns which are visible, and on the left side is a list of all the available columns to choose from.
Sorry, what did you click on to get there, Sanjay?
Yep,
the clog. Yep. Cog.
Yeah, the gear icon or the settings menu. Yeah. So these are the visible column and these are the available columns. So if I have to add something, let's say I want, I don't know, due date is important for me, and I'm going to add it as a visible column, and I'm also going to move on next to the number. Then I can do so by clicking on this move up and move down arrows. Click OK. So in this case, it does not have a due date, so it's fine, but otherwise it should be visible. And similarly, I can simply remove it by doing so. Then we can also add filters to this list. For doing so, I click on the funnel icon, which is show or hide filter. And then I choose a field for which I want to create a filter. Let's say it's related to my assignment group. And my assignment group is, I can search for the available options. Let's say it's an asset manager group for which I want to create a filter. You can add more filters and I can save it. Put a name and I can choose whether this is visible to me or to everyone. I can save it. And for opening it next time, I can choose on this menu here. I can go to filters and go to the asset manager text, which I just saved as a new filter. Unfortunately, this filter does not have any items in there, but this is how you create a filter.
Can you just click on filter again? When I click on mine, yeah, okay. Oh no, it is.
Is it okay? I'll choose a more appropriate one. Choose a field, let's say assignment group, and I can definitely see payroll services here. So I'm going to say.
What would your group be, Jody? HR?
Yeah, tell me what your group is.
Well, business partnering. So I think
Business applications, business relationship.
no, or maybe business relationship.
Okay, I can do that, and then I can save it.
There's
And-
8 images. Sorry.
And I can save it, and then I can run it as business relationship. Now, I mean, I don't have at the moment in the test system, but this is the way you create the filter.
Yeah, mine doesn't have that in there at all. To even select. So.
What do you mean? It doesn't show in the drop down here?
No. Or maybe I was in the.
Are you looking inside the assignment group?
Now I am. Sorry. My bad.
You really don't. You don't have to worry at all. When you first start navigating the system, which I did a couple of weeks ago, I was totally lost. So you are doing much, much better than we do.
Oh, I don't believe that. But it is the first time I've seen it. I do like it though.
No, I really tell you, really, really, it's very complicated for me because I'm from an SAP background, not ServiceNow background. But Leo helped me a lot.
Yeah, I miss SAP, I'll tell you. You know, before I came to Uniting, I used to complain about it, but now I realise how good it was.
Right, so you can try those options as well, and we've almost reached to the end of the session then. Try them and let me know. We'll have a question and answer session again before we go to the last part of the course today. Not at all. No, I'm ending the call as well. Thank you so much for your lovely
Thank
participation.
you.